Dumb. Cool.
Weird.
Podcast. Well, today,
Maybe he'll call. Maybe he won't.
I think today I want to talk about, maybe like the state of the country.
Yo, you mean like it's super fucked?
Yeah. So I think, I guess we don't have to do an hour-long episode. We could just do like a 30-minute one. Doesn't matter to me.
I don't know, dude. This might bleed into an hour because this country's like fucked up.
Yeah.
Fucked. I mean, 80% inflation. Then we blame Putin for that, but it was like shit before he invades Ukraine. And then we're just telling ourselves, like, you have people who are actually believing that lie, like, oh yeah, this is Vladimir Putin's fault exclusively, not the fact that our president and his dementia and his retard cast of Democrats are running this country like a McDonald's on crack.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that. I think the biggest thing that kind of concerns me is like, I've been reading a lot of reports. This is apparently like the worst inflation we've ever had, like ever. Like even worse than the one that they had in the 70s.
Oh yeah, no, it's kind of funny because like everyone always like says like, "Whoa, this is the worst president," and then like just relative to Jimmy Carter, people are like, "Oh, Obama's the worst president." Then people would like make up shit about how Trump's the worst president, even though that was a lie. And then they're like, "Oh no, it's completely fine. This is better than Orange Man," Mm-hmm. Like they'll tell themselves that somehow Joe Biden is better than like Donald Trump. Like they've convinced themselves like they have Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, this is the last episode we will probably be recording here
In Atlanta,
because next weekend I move. I don't think you'll be able to help me. It'll be on a Sunday.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably be working.
But I have like 2 people coming, so
that's good.
2
that's
trucks.
Good.
But by the time they come, I'll have everything completely moved anyway. So
that's good.
So it'll be just grabbing a few little things here and there.
Yeah, I mean, and if they couldn't tell, this room is like barren as hell.
Yeah.
It wasn't just inflation that killed this room. It was exclusively Atlanta.
Yeah,
that killed this room.
It's Baron von Bean Dip.
Yep.
Remember that?
No, I don't actually.
Ed, and Eddie.
Oh, okay.
There's an episode of Ed, and Eddie when Ed, the dumbest one in the group, was like worshiping this idol, and the idol was called Baron O'Bean Dip.
Yeah. So wait, who's a better president? Who would be a better president, Joe Biden or Ed? Retarded Ed.
Probably be about the same.
But who would function better? Because Ed has like moments of severe clarity.
Well, if I had to guess, Ed would probably do a little bit better because he would have Ed. He'd have Ed and Eddie there too. And I imagine with both of those guys, I'm pretty sure they could probably get a good bit of stuff done.
The government already steals from us with scams. And Ed, which one was it? The really scammy one was Eddie.
Eddie, and then the really smart one was Ed.
Double D.
Yeah, Double D. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like Eddie is kind of like the U.S. government when it takes your money. They'll find ways to scam you. It'll be like, hey, we're going to create this new program. It's going to be great. Secretly, we're taking all their fucking money.
Yeah, and I think their names, I think one of them is called Edgar. Was it Edward, Edgar, and Edwin, I think was like their names.
Interesting.
But you never hear them by like their real names. It's always the moniker Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah, and the only character you see outside of that whole show is like Eddie's older brother in that final episode.
Yeah, and then everybody whips his ass.
Yeah,
because he's a fucking piece of shit.
Back to
I do remember that.
Back to politics, though. I mean, I've heard people say that we have a lower approval rating than Gaddafi before he was murdered by his own citizens. So that's concerning.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty bad. I just, like I said, man, I'm just not very optimistic about like what's going on. It's very concerning. Yeah. I mean, my dad told me that the 70s were pretty bad because he was a teenager in the 70s. He said that like gas prices were high and they didn't know what was going to go on. And then like when the 80s hit, things seemed to be okay for a little while. They weren't
that great though.
Yeah, but they weren't that great. But he said at the time they seemed like they were okay.
I guess they were better than like the 70s, but then you realize how much bullshit Ronald Reagan was attached to.
Yeah, and then things got really good in the 90s and like all the way up to 2008, and then we had the
Then we had the other recession.
Yeah, recession.
Oh, man.
You know, my dad's politics have changed over the years. He's been like a Democrat. He's also voted Republican. He's voted either one. But my dad just doesn't vote like based off the parties. He votes based off of the candidate. And he said that some of the best money he ever made was in the 90s under Clinton for some reason. He said he made really good money.
A lot less regulations, and a lot of I think if I remember correctly, the budget was balanced. Yeah. At least under Clinton. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not from the I didn't live through the 90s like that, so I couldn't really tell you.
I don't know either, but he told me that it was pretty decent. I mean, he bought like my childhood home in 93. 92, something like that, for $60,000. You want to guess how much it is now?
How much?
$350,000.
That's fucking awful.
And he sold the house back in 2013 for I think he said $140,000. And when I told him that the house pretty much doubled in price, he laughed and said, he's like, I wouldn't even give them $90,000 for that fucking piece of shit. Yeah. And I was like, why is that? And he's like, well, I got it in working order, but I was like, but I guarantee you that he's like, I saw the people that moved in after us, after we left, and I knew for a fact that they weren't gonna
take care of it.
No.
Yeah, you know, it's really hard to want to give people property when they just vandalize the shit out of it now.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happened. Those people, they were very They just didn't give a shit, you know.
The country is fatter, dumber, and on a lot more like medication now.
Yep.
That's another thing that bothers me.
I understand.
It's kind of like we were talking about earlier today, right? Mm-hmm. More poor people are obese these days. And the funniest shit is whenever you listen to like poor people talk about how, oh, well, you know, I can't afford to eat good food. I can't afford steak. I can't afford chicken. I can't afford like, you know, actual food. But then they got about 60 different variants of cookies in their fucking bin at the store. They've got like a pallet of Diet Cokes because apparently I guess that's going to like help them out.
Yeah, it's all about that the Costco mentality. You go to Costco, it's like, ooh, I can get a pallet of.
You could get a pallet of cocaine. Let's just deregulate. Let's get rid of all the regulations on drugs, so at least Americans could be faster and dumber, like dumber faster. You know,
if we ever get our own sketch comedy show, we should have one where basically me and you work at like something like a Costco. We could call it like Big Co. We'll just call it
Big Co. Like some generic something Co.
It's like somebody goes, somebody like me and you like work there and we're fun. It's funny because we're like answering questions. We're like, excuse me. I know y'all's 128 like pack of beer is cool, but I'm looking for something bigger. And he's like, well, what you want, sir, is you want the pallet of beer over there. And you like point over and there's a pallet of like beer.
Yeah.
And you're like, he's like, well, how much comes in that? And you're like, about 500 beers. And then he's just like, ooh, I don't know if that's enough. And you're like, well, if you want, you can get the super pallet, which has 1,000 beers on it.
And then it's like, well, it's going to last for like 3 weeks. The mega pallet. It's got 2,000 beers and only $500, sir. Hope you brought yourself a semi-truck because that's not coming out.
And he's just like, well, it just so happens that I got paid today and we're doing it. And then like you see his kids over there like all like shriveled up, and he's just
no. His kids are like smoking cigarettes and like eat and drinking beer. It's like I can't afford to feed my kids anything healthy. So you're just having them drink and smoke cigarettes? No, they eat the cigarettes. I'm not irresponsible. I'm not going to make my kids smoke.
And then he's like over there like chewing up the cigarettes, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I come, and then like they do one where I'm like over there like wiping down a counter, and the lady goes, "Excuse me, do you what kind of cakes do you have here?" I was like, "Well, we have the normal size cakes, and then we have the grande cakes, and then we come over there, and it's literally like a giant like."
It's like a cake that a stripper comes out of.
Yeah, it's like the size of a table. And she goes, how many calories are in that cake? And I go, for medical and health reasons, we don't tell people how many calories are in that because we'll get sued.
We don't want to come off as fat phobic in a very progressive society that fit shames.
Yeah, but I think that'd be a really funny sketch.
You know what's funny about that, though? When you're asking, like, oh, how many calories does this have? It was like, I was working at the liquor store, right? Some old soccer mom bitch comes in, and she's like, well, I'm trying to watch my figure. My doctor says I got to watch my calories because I'm pre-diabetic, so I can't have so much juice. I was like, well, then why the fuck are you here? Like, that you're at a liquor store.
Yeah.
He was like, what did you think? They're going to put the calorie content on the bottles of liquor you're getting, Karen?
Yeah, what pre-diabetic people don't realize is that if you're diabetic, you have no business. You shouldn't be drinking alcohol because alcohol actually impacts your sugar, your blood sugar,
a lot. But it's like really funny when you have like these people who are like the greatest one though is I'm vaccinated and I'm wearing a mask. Gets a fucking carton of cigarettes, gets you like a cart worth of beer and liquor. And it's like, well, we just don't know when the next lockdown's going to happen. Everything's dangerous now. And you're just like, God, you people are fucking terrible looking. It's like, you were the poster child of, like, death.
Yeah, I remember when my grandfather died, we had to clean out his house. And me and my dad went downstairs. And there was I looked at the wall and I said, Dad, this wall looks kind of weird. He's like, yeah, it does. And we opened up the wall and we found my grandfather's stash of alcohol. This motherfucker had 50 bottles of liquor and had so many different cases of beer. And we were just like, what the fuck? And he had a fridge in there too. I think that was his fortress of solitude because he had a fucking chair in there.
Dude, that's the greatest thing about old people is they always their fortress of solitude was just to get away from the wife and kids, where they can drink in peace and not be judged.
Pretty much.
Because it's your grandmother would probably be bitching at him, but he's like, "Why do you go to the bar all the time?" It's like I have friends there, and just decide I'm going to lock myself into this room and drink all day.
Yeah, because that's how alcoholism gets formed and. That's where our wonderful politicians come from.
Yeah, well, fetal alcohol syndrome specifically.
Yeah, absolutely.
God, every day I ask myself, it can't get any worse, right? I'm getting you're saying to yourself, it's like, man, this is constant ass rape, from these people. When do I at least get a reach around from the government?
Never.
No, I mean, yeah, they stopped using lube. This administration. Mm-hmm. At least, the previous administrations, when taxes went up, they tried to smooth it in a little bit. They weren't just going to ram it right into your ass. Mm-hmm. This time around, they're just like, you know what? Just stick it in there and we'll see how it goes.
Sounds about right. Stick it right in.
You know what else is weird? Joe Biden sniffing kids. That is the worst fucking thing. They've normalized Joe Biden sniffing children.
I mean, anytime he does anything, it kind of freaks me out. When they had him on that bike recently and he fucking
fell off a bicycle.
I don't know what he was doing, dude.
No, but you know what? He's the healthiest president we have. He could his ad in his ads where he's like instead of walking, we're running. They're constantly trying to say they're moving faster than Trump, trying to fat shame Trump, but it's funny because he was running up the stairs to the Air Force One and he fell down the stairs. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God, dude.
Somebody was supposed to put him in a home.
I thought Obama was the healthiest president we ever had.
Yeah, I mean, and George W. Bush, because, after alcoholism, he just tried to outrun his Secret Service team whenever he could.
No, I was just saying, I remember seeing, Obama.
He loves cigarettes.
No. I mean, I saw.
It's not the worst thing.
Well, I mean, I saw Obama, I saw videos of him playing basketball against people, and he was, whipping their fucking ass, dude.
Yeah, but, how good, do you really want to beat the president?
Probably not, but I don't know. I guess I was just thinking, them saying that that Biden was the healthiest president, that makes no fucking sense.
Biden being the healthiest president is scary.
Yeah. It says a lot about our country, doesn't it?
No, you know what else is, really scary is how our vice president can't get into a real conversation without laughing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something tragic happens, and she just starts laughing. Or the fact that whenever she talks, it sounds like she's trying to fill out a word count on a paper.
Yeah.
All the memes are just great. And not to mention how Joe Biden's is a guy who like created that disparity with like how you get sentenced for crack.
Mm.
And his son is on crack and hookers all the time and got found with an illegal gun. Yet the old man who lost millions of dollars worth of like military equipment to the Taliban is telling us we can't own certain guns here because it's bad.
Mm.
But bitch, you lost everything to the Taliban. Like, how dumb are you? You did everything ass backwards. You couldn't. You should have just like. You evacuated the country in the most ass backwards way, and then you wondered why you lost everything. Fucking retard. Then his son has like gun crime charges as well. Like, I love Hunter Biden is slowly destroying the credibility that family has.
Yeah.
Or the fact that the newest thing where his wife is like talking to Latinos and stuff, and you could really tell how like out of touch they are already with like the working class people, but how out of touch they are with fucking like Latinos and everything. You're like the breakfast tacos, you know, like talking about like these people like they're breakfast tacos. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? It's like anyone who went to that rally is like she couldn't say bodegas right. She's mentioning them like they're breakfast tacos. Probably could have just like not had the speech, just had her stand there looking blindly at a piece of paper, and it would have been better for them.
Bodega.
Yeah, I think she said it was like a Bodegas. No, she called them Bodegas.
See, I didn't know what a bodega was till about last year. Didn't know what they were.
Yeah, because only cities have them, and they're crap.
Yeah.
Like, you literally can't get anything worth eating at a bodega. Like, they're cool and all if you want to get like something on the go, but in reality, it's like having a grocery store is like way more effective.
Yeah, there's a rapper. Her name is Bia, and she was like singing the song. She goes, "I put on my jewelry just to go to the bodega," and I was like, "Is that like a fancy place, the bodega?" And like, I didn't realize that the bodega, the joke of that verse was she's putting on her jewelry to go to some like crappy little convenience store.
Yeah, a little corner store.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
You know what though? I won't say they're all crappy.
Bodega, that sounds kind of fancy, doesn't it?
It does sound fancy, but it depends on which one you go. It's like for example, my aunt owned like a small like a little store. You could consider it a bodega, but it was like it actually had food in there. Like it was like a miniature grocery store. But then you had all those other ones that were basically like little miniature gas station stores in the area where all they sold was cigarettes, Gatorade, and alcohol. They're just like, hey, here's your beef jerky. That's the only food you're going to get here. I want some cigarettes? You could eat those if you're sad enough. If you want a healthy alternative from alcohol, you can get some Gatorade. Because if you're coming from your hangover or want to prep up for your hangover, grab a Gatorade.
If you're going to eat tobacco, why don't you just go ahead and eat the chew?
Don't do that. I mean, don't eat any tobacco. But you
know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
If you're going to eat tobacco, I mean, I wouldn't eat tobacco, any kind of tobacco either. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to eat tobacco, you might as well just get some chew or something.
Dude, I fell.
Get you a big old pouch of Red Man.
Dude, those red, like, I'm waiting for like the woke mob to get rid of Red Man.
It's like Red Man's been like under the radar.
It's just like Red Man is just like, oh shit, we're next.
Wouldn't it be funny if like, because who knows who the fuck owns Red Man? But wouldn't it be funny if like
it is owned by like a bunch of Native Americans?
Yeah, that would be hilarious. We're gonna go ahead and cancel Red Man now because it's
racist.
It's racist against Native Americans, and then all of a sudden a guy comes out and he goes, "We own Red Men." It's like, what? Really? It's like
really we don't know what to do. Our training didn't teach us to go.
They
this
go
far.
and they're like the thing about Red Men is it's one of the most successful businesses we own in this country.
No, you know, it'd be like even funnier though if it's like they get rid of Red Man, but they just have they have a company called White Man, and it's just a guy with a mullet, like on the front of it, instead of the Native American guy with like the feathers and everything. Just a guy with a mullet and like an American flag bandana.
Yeah, the thing about like I don't know. It's like
either way, just don't eat tobacco.
Yeah, just don't eat tobacco. Fuck that. I've actually tried chew tobacco when I was super young. I think I might have been like
It's deceivingly sweet.
It is, and like you don't actually chew on it. You like stick it in the side of your cheek and you just keep it there.
Well, you do chew on it. Chew on it to like get the flavors in and everything.
Yeah, but you don't chew on it constantly like gum.
No. Yeah, it's not like gum.
See, that's the thing. Like when I first put it in my mouth, I was like chewing on it. My buddy's like, no, you just chew it on a little bit and then you stick it in your cheek. And I'm like, okay. And then I almost threw up because the nicotine was too much.
Yeah, dude, it's like my first time having dip was the greatest time ever.
I'm gonna be honest. There was about 6 months when I was in high school that I dipped, and I'm not really proud of it. And luckily, I never did the actual dip. I did the pouches because I hated like having a bunch of dip in my.
You know what? That was the reason I switched to pouches eventually, was because like I really don't like this shit in my teeth. But after a while, when like you're just letting the searing pain of poverty kick in, you just put in the razor blade glass infused dip in your mouth, and you're just like, the pain and the nicotine
Made me want to throw up.
No, dude, I'm not joking, but I am kind of joking. But it's like soon I'm gonna start dipping again with all this fucking poverty.
Here's the thing. The brand that I would do Skull Green Apple, and it was not good.
Now what you got to do is you got to get yourself some Grizzly or Copenhagen mint or wintergreen, and just go with those, and you should be good.
Well, if you want to feel really trashy, you get yourself some Longhorn.
Now you know what's great? Kodiak. We're talking about dip because we're so impoverished now. We've decided we're going to start missing some meals, so we're going to find like some nicotine pouches to like really curb
the
eating
appetite.
Curb the appetite.
Curb the appetite.
It's called intermittent fasting, but you only eat like once every 2 days because you can't afford gas.
Yep. Actually, you know what's funny about intermittent fasting? People have been practicing it more because it's actually a good way to save some money.
No, but that's what I'm saying, right? It's like nobody was like, oh, this intermittent fasting is something I want to do when things are nice. They're like, this intermittent fasting is a great thing to do when I can't afford gas.
Wouldn't it be really funny if like at the end of all this, like people become super fucking jacked from it's like, I haven't been eating. I've been intermittent fasting. They're just walking around and they're like big and buff. They're like, what the fuck is going on? How does this work?
I mean, that requires them to exercise too, though. You know why food's more expensive in this country now? I bet you.
What's that?
It's because too many people are allowing fat people to just become morbidly obese. Mm-hmm. Like it used to be like you could be chubby and everyone would like make fun of you until you got fit again. But now we've gotten so mad about fat phobia that we've now accepted fit phobia as a thing. That's what I'm going to call it, because like all the obese people are making fun of like in shape people. Yeah, it's really disturbing.
Yeah, what was it?
The skinnies is what they call them.
Yeah, we had I showed Nick here like a thread earlier this week, and in the thread, these people were calling normal sized people skinnies, and I was just like, okay.
And then somehow being in shape is systematic oppression.
Yeah, and then they have this thing called big fats, regular fats, and super fats, and I'm like, what the hell?
And then there's the wear fats.
And then there's the wear fats, but that's something that me and Nick came up with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's not for normal people, but coming to a theater near you, Attack of the Wear Fats.
Yeah. No, dude. The thing that bugs me though is like watching that thread made me realize, like, you know what? We need to get back to just bullying more people. We let too many people go with kindness. You could like these days, people are just so nice. Like our generation's too kind. We're just like, yeah, that person could like try and punch me in the face. I'm just gonna ignore it. It's like they're just sad. You know what I mean? They're like these words won't hurt me. And then you realize, wait a minute, these people are like literally trying to take over society. I mean, it's kind of funny because they're fat. And they're so oppressed that they might as well stay at home. Like, imagine having so much oppression that you're morbidly obese. They can't even march to end bullying anymore, so we should just start doing it again.
It'd be really funny if in the movie that we're talking about making, there's this like in the maybe in the movie, but like in the trailer, it just cuts to like a car and you're dressed up like a greaser and you got your hair like all greased and there's some chick sitting there and she's like, "Oh, Tommy, I'm scared." And you get like a toothpick. You're like, "I ain't scared of no fucking werefats." And all of a sudden out of nowhere one pops up and you stick like a hot dog in its mouth and you see,
See, it's harmless when you feed it. I got a pack of corn dogs from the gas station. I didn't even heat this thing up. They're eating them raw. It's fucking frozen.
and then they're back there just like stuffing their faces.
It's like, dude, it's like you could have like the way to defeat the wear fats that like if you wanted to do this is like have them. You have like in the center of the town, they put all like the fatty foods in like the town square. Then they like burn it down.
Then there's like a scene where this like black guy's getting chased by the werefats, and he's like oh god. And then he turns around. He's like wait.
They're like dying.
They're like he's like a mile away from them. He's like wait where'd they go?
Yeah,
because he outran them.
It's like all right,
and he just starts walking.
Oh god, no! But then we get the rascal scooter werefats.
Yeah.
I had to explain to my parents, like, I'm never going to let myself become, like, new age poor fat, like rascal scooter fat. Mm. If I have trouble getting, like, food, I'm going to make sure I'm, like, Great Depression poor. Mm. Like, where I'm just, like, almost near death, surviving on scraps.
So funny.
Nah, dude, I've said it. I was like, I am never going to let myself get up to, like, 250 and above again. I'm never going to do it. I would rather die. Because that would be suicide. You would die because you're fat.
Yeah, I meant to say that's one thing I want to do. I maybe want to do like fake movie trailers for movies, and that's something I've been wanting to do for like years. And I think that's a really good niche thing we could do. Like, yeah. I want to do another one called The Stank from 10,000 Fathoms, which is a very like 1950s name. And basically, like the whole movie, you just have a guy go, In a modern world.
Oh yes, you see here.
In the modern world, there's a great enemy on the horizon, and then it starts talking about like the stank. It's like in a hole in the ground, it cracked, and now there's.
I want to know why they talk like that.
They call it a transatlantic accent. That's something that they did back in the 50s. They would have these dumb American like fake accents, and they were called transatlantic. That's why like the women would be like, "I don't care, Johnny. I don't care what you say. I'll do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to tell you something, Johnny." And they talk just like that. And then the guys would talk very similar. It was like fast paced, hit you with lightning kind of talk. It was really weird.
Yeah, it's like what we said if we did our like mob boss like pizza skits.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like everyone who wasn't Italian would have that same like accent. Yeah. Oh, what you got here? It's a calzone. I really like it. It's not like pizza, but it's definitely not a sandwich.
Yeah, see, that shit's fucking funny.
Dude, like, well, and what's funny is like when you would listen to those guys, like you hear like the old radio ads where they're talking about how bad the Great Depression is back in those days, but with those voices. Oh, look, people are jumping off the buildings. It's really bad up here in New York City. Stock market crashed. People are killing themselves. Their savings are all gone.
Yeah, and notice it was always and then like, you always had like the reporters be like, "Oh, give me the news." Blah, 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 blah.
I was like, "Oh, look, Joe Biden fell off a bicycle standing."
Yeah, see, I think if we brought back those guys, I think our news would be a little bit more of a soft blow.
Oh, look there. There's the fantastic mind of Kamala Harris telling us everything she can with extra words.
Actually, that would actually be really funny if we did like we shot stuff like
we did the news, but like that,
like 1950s style. We're like dressed up in the wardrobe. We have those weird looking giant microphones they had back then. You know the ones I'm talking about, like Radio City microphones.
Yeah, those like giant like look like almost like robot penises just jammed in your face.
Yeah, and we're wearing like you're wearing like a trench coat and a fedora, and I'm wearing like those weird suspender things they wore, and I have like my hair slicked back, and I'm just like,
No, you gotta have like the you also gotta have like the straw hat, the shirt without like sleeves.
yeah, and I gotta have like a cigarette just like hanging out of the side of my mouth.
Well, we both have to have cigarettes.
Well, no, you can have a cigarette, and I'll have a cigar because they did that too back then.
Or a pipe. There's just anything. Like everyone for some reason was like, it's like I have to have tobacco all times of the day, or I'm a homosexual.
Yeah, didn't it seem like they were always smoking a lot of cigarettes back then, didn't they?
Dude, that's why people looked older in the past.
Yeah.
Like everyone was like, it's like, hey Johnny, when are you gonna start smoking? People are worried in this town.
It's like,
Oh, Mister, I didn't want to get cancer. Oh, Johnny, that's some liberal talk. Go and get yourself a pack of Lucky Strikes. Man up, Timmy. There's sober kids in India.
and then like it cuts to like a small little commercial. Lucky strikes, lucky strikes.
If you don't do them, you're dumb.
They always had those, didn't they? Yeah, God, dude.
Do you not smoke Lucky Strikes? It's probably because you're a communist.
You just like break through the commercial like a cartoon character. Be like, if you don't smoke Lucky Strikes, you're a communist.
And you hate America. And you know what we do to communists in this country. We kill them.
Yeah, it's funny as shit,
Dude, like, oh man, like, but it's kind of funny because it's like the next thing that really bugs me about the way things are going in this country is like when all these people, not just the fat ones, not just the blue-haired ones, but like all the ones who have this like Stockholm Syndrome, they're like, oh God, everything's so oppressive. The government like needs our help. We have to consistently snitch on people we don't like through every form of media.
Well, it's like we were talking about, like, right now.
If you're a punk rocker right now, you are exactly what the media wants.
It's just funny that like the economy is like so bad right now, and everything's so bad right now. But like we're sitting here making fun of the '50s, and so the '50s were supposedly the best time in American history for the American economy.
Yeah.
Which makes sense why they made all those crazy ass fucking infomercials.
Well,
all that crazy ass shit because they had so much wealth. They're like, oh, well, now that we got all this wealth, let's do something with it.
Well, unlike the rest of the world, though, we weren't bombed to oblivion fighting a world war. Like obviously, we built the military-industrial complex that created problems that we have today. We got hit in Hawaii. We had issues over here, but we didn't have people literally bombing the country daily.
Yeah.
And so our economy was like a little bit better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because we had the infrastructure to support the rest of the world. I mean, same thing, like Soviet Union got bombed the hell out of, but they turned it around and they were just like, yeah, we're going to just start doing exactly what America does. But like, we're going to be the discount version because communism sucks.
Yes, discount.
It's like, we're like freedom, but not really. We're exactly the opposite of freedom, but we give you the nice illusion. And then as time went on, the United States did the same thing. They're like, yeah, we're like freedom, but not really.
But not really.
Have fear? Cool. We got the Patriot Act. Need oil? Watch out every country in the Middle East.
And that's America.
It's falling apart so bad.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that really like messes with me is this whole housing thing, man. I've been wanting to buy a house for like 5 years now,
Yep.
and I was starting to save money in 2020 to buy a house, and then like this shit happened, and then just like everything just went to fucking hell, dude.
You know who I blame for this?
Who's that?
Baby boomers.
Baby boomers, huh?
You know who's the most out of touch person, by the way?
Who's that?
Fucking Michael Moore.
We're back to Michael Moore.
Just right now with his 28th Amendment to basically take away gun rights from people. Is like, and nobody has a right to own a gun. It's like, cool, that must be nice when you're like part of the top 1%, you fat piece of shit. It was like, cool story. You get to stand there on your ivory tower with your security guards, barely taking a hit from any crime ever. And you're going to come around and tell us how we got to live our lives. It's like any celebrity right now. Most celebrities are just trying to get on the woke train.
Yeah.
and anyone who isn't is like completely shunned out of Hollywood. Like, I mean, like, what is it? Chris Pratt, he takes hit after hit because they're just trying to get rid of him.
Trying to.
I mean, he's lovable, so it doesn't work. But if you're just slightly not lovable for a moment, you end up like Gina Carano, where they completely try to destroy your career.
Sounds about
One
right.
tweet could just destroy your life. Why? Because apparently, you know, the people who said that they're going to fight oppression, I can't figure out that they're the oppressors. Stockholm Syndrome. It works in fun ways. Like, they are glorified snitches.
Oh, yeah.
And then they get mad at everyone else for being a snitch. Have fun with that. But you know what? I'm kind of happy because since Roe v. Wade got turned over as of recently, more and more liberal men are getting vasectomies at a younger age. So now at least they can't breed.
Yeah, I still don't really like the whole Roe v. Wade thing, man. I'm very pro-choice, so.
Well, it just doesn't matter. That's the thing. It's like it doesn't actually affect anything. All the states were already doing whatever they wanted. This just eliminated the ceiling and the floor, so the foundation's completely gone in both ends. Because they said like Roe v. Wade had limits to when you can like stop having when you had to like cut off abortion rights. Now it's just like they can have it at like a really low spectrum, or states, you know, that didn't really care about, where like they were really pro-choice are going to still do what they want to do, and states that were pro-life are still going to do what they want to do. They were doing this beforehand. It's like, think about guns, right? States that don't like guns were already gutting the Second Amendment. So that's the same thing they're doing with pro-choice, right? Like pro-choice and pro-life arguments. People who are more pro-choice, doesn't matter what's going to happen. Like if Roe v. Wade doesn't stick around, you know, they're going to still do what they want in their states, because if people voted on it like that, they have that right. Unfortunately, unlike a constitutional amendment like the Second Amendment, you know, it kind of sucks because they're just kind of trying to gut that whenever they can.
Yeah.
I don't care what people do with their bodies. I'm just saying there's no limit up or down now of what they could do.
I gotcha. Okay. Fair enough, man. Well, we're getting close.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow, we really went through that one.
Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is the state of things in this country is pretty bad. It's basically on fire right now. Inflation's really high. Housing is like fucking just fucked. Renting is fucked.
Dude, renting's worse.
Buying is fucked.
Actually, both are bad, because even if you already have a house,
Yeah.
your property taxes have probably gone up like a shit ton too.
I talked to my dad today. Apparently, you know, food prices have gone up, and then the boxes that they keep the food in have actually gotten smaller. So that sucks. And
You know what's
then
really strange too?
And gas prices are just hovering at $4 a gallon here in Georgia, and they're, you know, shitty everywhere else. And
But you know what's really crazy?
was that
Bill Gates is the largest landowner in the United States, and mysteriously, a lot of food plants have just been burning on his property.
is that strange?
That is strange, right? It's like it's almost planned.
Well, goddamn.
Well, Bill Gates is a shifty fuck anyway, so I don't care.
Yep. Well, folks.
That's why I miss Steve Jobs.
Yep.
People hated Steve Jobs, but everyone knew where Steve Jobs stood on things.
It's true.
Right on your neck, where he belonged.
Yep. And folks, we, today's podcast is, like I said,
Brought to you by Cherry Lime.
Cherry
Naturally
lime
flavored, sparkling water.
Yes. If you're not drinking cherry lime, then what are you doing?
You're a communist. You're a communist, you see? You better go buy yourself a gun so you can suck that pistol, you see?
But yeah, check out our website, www.dumbcoolweird.com. As always, we're going to be still bringing y'all content every week. And
Just not next week.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
we're going to try.
well, this podcast is what they're going to be listening to next week.
Oh, yeah, well,
So,
yeah, I'm a little retarded.
yeah, so.
We need to get Alex Jones on the podcast.
Yep. And, merch. We still got that merch. We actually got new merch up. So we got the Smooth Brain shirt.
Oh, yeah, the Smooth Brain shirt.
Yeah, we got all kinds of cool stuff. And,
if anyone has Alex Jones's contact information, please send it to us. We would like it.
Yeah. And so what's really cool is we're going to be in the new location next time you see us, and it'll be really cool. We're going to have, I don't know if the studio will be completely built by the time we record our next episode there, but at least we'll be in the new place. So
yeah, that would be nice. We won't be in Atlanta anymore. So. This terrible city where you almost get hit by everyone making their own rules on the road, and all the crackheads who throw themselves at your car.
Yep. But
wish this was an exaggeration.
Yeah. But I hope everybody has a good night.
Bye-bye. And stay sexy, Atlanta.
Thanks for checking out the Dumb Cool Weird podcast. Go to our website, www.dumbcoolweird.com, to check out our merch and all our social media links. If you want to check out how to support us and our audio podcasts only, and an access to our website and all of our other links for our social media, go to linktree.com, which has Dumb Cool Weird podcast. The link is up below. Hope you guys will check us out. We have new content coming out every single Monday. We have new content coming out every single day. Check it for 9 a.m. Clips, reactions, whatever. We got it coming for you. Hope you come out, check it out. Stay sexy, Atlanta, and keep watching our crap.